Rob Rogers, you're up.
Hey, Rob.
Let me mute myself.
You unmuted yourself and you muted yourself again.
All right, I think we're good now.
Yeah,
we're good.
All right, hey guys. Hey, Some Great Rewards, one of my favorite albums of all time, and I would have to say, "Told You So" is probably just a great track. But my question was, and I think Poppy kind of touched on it a little bit, is so I'll kind of change it a little bit. What was your absolute most favorite sample that you ever did, or maybe just if you ever came across something that's like, I have to sample that. That is just, is there something that comes to mind that was, hey, this is my most favorite sample to create, or this, I came across something that's like, I have to actually sample that. I got to get that sample.
Well, we've been here before. I mean, as I said, this early, the early work when I discovered these scrap metal yards or whatever they were, the disused railway yards around the back of the Shoreditch here, where I still am with my studio. That was something I just walked in there. I thought, we have to come out here with drumsticks and hammers and bits of wood and bits of metal. We have to sample this junkyard and see what comes out of it. As all of us know who do use sampling, and as I highlighted with Poppy, the thing about it is, it's like you can develop a musical idea from a tiny snippet, actually. It's a question of how you work with it, and it's very much the same for samples. You can sample something like I don't know, like this sound, and then if you turn it down 3 octaves and make it go backwards and put it in a massive reverb, it might take you somewhere you never could have imagined. So, the whole sampling process is just a great voyage of discovery. Dive in there, grab something, manipulate it, fuck it up, transpose it, play a melody on it, play a beat on it, But yeah, really, the start of it, the big, I think that's fair to say, that was the scrapyard that I found somehow. I don't know how I even found this scrapyard, but just walking through it, I just looked at it. I thought, whoa, we just got to sample this. And because it had pipes in it, Martin had this song called Pipeline already. It's a bit of a no-brainer, really. Duh, there's pipes out there. Let's go sample them. It's like, it's one of those it's so obvious and yet so profound and so deep, I love that. I still think that's a very masterful piece of recording. I mean, by everyone involved. I mean, I don't mean by me. I mean, as a team, I think that's just it's
groundbreaking.
It's groundbreaking because it's so pure, theoretically and musically pure. It's just so simple and so pure. There's no effects on it. There's no EQ. There's no compression. It's just the sound of the pipes and the scrap metal. Profound.
It's interesting that it's not necessarily a fan favorite song, but I really feel like it's so important in the evolution of the band.
It's really important in my evolution, Rob. That's for sure.
Good question,
well,
Rob.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Atusa's up again because she's asking questions for other people who are no longer here or have asked her questions in advance. So,
okay,
Atusa, go ahead.
Okay, this is for my friend Martin from the Netherlands, who's actually a visual artist and musician.
Yeah.
He's very interested in your works now. What sounds inspire you now? Where do these sounds come from? From your dreams, from nature, from your surroundings? What really catches your ear and what really gets you creative today?
The nature is a great thing, obviously. These field recording collages that I spoke about earlier have been even though they're really old recordings, have been enormously important. But again, I've got to go back to building a patch with the modular. That is what is deeply inspiring. And I was in my studio B at home today, just playing about with some simple stuff. And I find it enormously inspirational that I can plug equipment together in this modular synth world and turn some knobs and sculpt and hone in on little accidents that appear, and oh, that's good. Oh, what happens if I change? Oh, that's good. Oh no, go back. You know, so to me, this network, this patch, this rat's nest of cables and switches and knobs in the modular synth is like deeply inspiring. That's where I feel that I make stuff that speaks to me, and then I hope that if I can edit it and bring it into some kind of shape, that other people can enjoy it as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up we have Jeff Ford in Oregon.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Is there any other Depeche Mode song that you would have loved to produce that you haven't?
The whole of Violator.
Like Rush, for instance?
The whole of Violator.
Oh, Violator. Awesome.
Yeah, the whole of Violator. I think that's a brilliant record. Really brilliant record. Because that's like a incredibly great sounding record. And Flood is an amazing producer, and François Kevorkian mixed it on the back of his Kraftwerk success. That's like, to me, that's incredibly masterful electropop, you know, in honed and done in such crystalline purity in a way that I never was able to achieve back then, you know. So the whole Kraftwerk influence on it, to me, as a piece of art and as a great collection of songs. Yeah, I mean that's my one, you know. And
wow,
it's a kind of a pinnacle of one of their many pinnacles.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Thank you.
This is very humble, Gareth.
Glenn C., you're up next.
Glenn C.
Hey guys, hey, good to see you again. Thanks for hosting. Thanks everyone for doing a great job, Rob and Vaughn, for putting this together.
Thank you, Glenn.
Gareth,
Glenn.
I was a 15-year-old in the 80s listening to K-Rock in Pasadena, California, rolling with my mom, sort of finding this whole alternative culture thing to be where I needed to be. I got my identity from it. I found like-minded folks. I was reading this article about, just something about what you captured through those 3 albums really just sort of introduced an alternative thing to California and the US. And I just remember this capturing my imagination, you guys running around with microphones, sampling things, and like this industrial thing hadn't been a thing yet. And just, oh man, it was amazing. And I remember reading this article about Alan struggling to contain the tempo in It Doesn't Matter Too, and just thinking like, I could do this all day. I could read this stuff and study this stuff. So thank you for putting that out there and changing my life. But yeah, if you remember that detail around that tempo change, where I think it's either in the beginning or the end where it slows down, that would be interesting.
No, I don't remember the details of that, but I do remember because of this whole nerdy sync thing. When by the time we moved to Black Celebration, what album is that on? It Doesn't Matter to.
Black
Celebration.
Yeah. Okay, good. Phew. I have to be careful. I don't embarrass myself with the audio.
Totally.
Anyway, on that album, right, I came in with I had a very sophisticated sync box that allowed me to program tempo changes differently for different parts of the song. And it was kind of breakthrough software in those days. And so on many of the songs on that album, the choruses and the verses are at different speeds, which made it a bit of a nightmare for DJs before, Tractor and all that. Obviously with Tractor or Ableton or something, it just plays the same speed anyway. But so now it's not an issue again. But because, in our listening to real music, played music, we obviously knew pretty much immediately that a lot of songs, it might speed up a bit on the chorus, and then drop down back into the verse in tempo. So I programmed all this stuff very painstakingly in the SRC Friendship. I wish I had that. That looked like a real bit of laboratory gear, but it was a genius piece of gear that allowed you to bring all the different items in the studio in those days into relationship with each other, play together. In other words, it allowed stuff to play together with a groove, which was so important. And so this tempo change thing is all across Black Celebration, partly empowered by the new firmware update on the SRC Friendship, made in Berlin, actually, by Otto Bergler, who also worked with Kraftwerk. And it was like a and fun. It didn't really stick with me, this idea. I mean, obviously there's the odd song that I work on now that changes tempo in my production career. But it didn't really stick. I was so captivated by this idea of, look, we can make the chorus play 2 BPM faster and then ramp it down back to the other tempo in a little link before it gets to the verse. I thought this was so exciting and so musically powerful, but it's not something I've done, and it's so easy to do now in a DAW. It's real easy to do, but funnily enough, I don't hardly do it anymore. But that was a big part of the voyage of discovery of Black Celebration, was us moving away from the monotony of the regular grid and saying, look, we can float up into the chorus, or the middle 8, we can go a little bit slower. And if anyone can be asked, if you take digital copies of that and you map it in Ableton or Logic or Pro Tools or something, you'll see the tempo going up and down across
That's
the
awesome.
2 BPM or so.
Yeah, a little musical amount.
So it's not something you would notice, but it's
a feel.
just a glide.
It's a feel thing. Yeah.
It's fascinating. Wow.
Yeah.
Very
and
cool.
it was once you'd done it once and loaded it into the machine, then every time you came back to that song, you could just load that preset up or whatever it was that you constructed, and then all the machines would play at the different tempos you programmed. Wow. It was cool, and it's inspiring to talk about it, actually, because it makes me want to bring it back into my life again. Especially, it's funny, it's one of those things now, it's real easy. I hardly do it.
Yeah, we don't do it.
Yeah,
it starts at 120, it ends at 120.
Yeah, sure, totally normal, right?
You can just draw it in with the
now you can do anything. It's so easy. But where I do it, I've just done a wonderful record with Jan Tiersen, where he played a lot of piano, and I temper, and it's all played free. It's a beautiful record. It's out next year, and I shouldn't say too much about it because obviously I don't want to steal his thunder. But one thing I did was tempo map all the pianos. So I got these radical tempo shifts that allowed us to use the tempo mapping to do other overdubs, and I won't say more about it than that. So actually, I've just done it on a map, but that's inspired by the piano performance that was played free.
So you didn't play to a click track?
No, I mapped it.
And then you mapped it.
I mapped it, yeah.
So all the
You haven't heard it yet?
No.
No, but I mean, it's not out yet. But anything that might be on there, it gave me a grid. I made a grid after the performance.
So all the modulars and stuff are kind of followed with that. You've drawn in the grid.
I'm not going to talk about it any further.
Well, we will eventually, I'm sure. No, that's very exciting. Thanks for that,
so awesome.
Glenn.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
But before we get to Patty in Louisiana, I think that George and Gareth look like they would love a drink. So.
Oh yeah, mine's empty,
Cheers.
so I don't know. But you're riding the back home as well.
Look.
Yeah, he's slowing down. Mine's empty, but cheers, guys. Thank you very much, Rob.
Cheers.
Good to be here, matey.
Thank you.
And everyone that's here, I just want to tell you, you've all got good taste, really, in music and in life and everything. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
So, Patty, with that, you're on.
Patty.
Oh, hi, everyone. Thank you again, Rob and Vaughn. And it's
Hi, Patty.
nice to see you again, Gareth.
Hi, Patty. Nice to see you too.
Yes. I actually like Michigan from what I've listened to so far. So thank you for that. And good luck, with your vinyl. I know at the first opportunity, I'm going to go and purchase that and help out with that, fund it.
Have you got only if you got a vinyl player though?
I think I have one in storage in New York.
No, that's not. No, Patty, you don't have to fund it if you haven't got a vinyl player. That's too much, honestly. But thank you.
Although
thank you.
Very nice
for
this on the wall too.
Possibly. I mean, I have plenty of walls here.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So I had a lot of questions, which actually a lot of the other fans had already asked those questions. But you had mentioned that relationships is really one of the fundamental parts of having a really successful kind of collaboration amongst to get works of art and music. So my question really was about you were able to witness Depeche Mode but like during Alan and post Alan, and you also worked with Vince Clarke, which I'm wearing his shirt, by the way. So I was wondering, what were like the different kinds of things that you could see, like the differences in the way that they work and the way that you all related to each other?
Well, really, I didn't, you know, when we worked on Ultra, I only worked a tiny bit on Ultra, Patty, as you know, tiny bit. But I know that part of the challenge of putting a production team, of which I wasn't a part, putting a production team together for Ultra, was to fill the gap that was there when Alan, who's a great producer himself, had left. So, and that's where Tim Simonon and his team was so powerful, because Tim worked with a bunch, like about two guys, I think it was three of them, very powerful team of programmers, synthesizer designers. Obviously Martin's a genius as well at this stuff, and has become more and more so over many years, especially with his current solo work. But so there was a massive difference, but I didn't, and then when I worked again as part of the Exciter team, everything had kind of transitioned out. You know, everyone was used to it. It was a whole different format. The band was down to a trio again, and Mark Bell as a producer was a very talented musician himself as well. So I think Depeche were starting to embrace producers who were powerful and creative musicians in a way in which in their earlier albums they'd worked with engineer producers more, like me, because I wasn't doing any of my own music really then. I mean, it's a fine line, or any producer or engineer, it's a very musical job. Even in the 80s, I felt, what people said, well, what's your instrument? And I'd said, well, I play the studio. That was my instrument. That's what I felt I play. So it's obviously a musical job, you know. But as Alan, when Alan left the group, the group became, and this is me talking, not them. I had no idea how they look at it. But looking at it now, I think, oh yeah, they started to work with very musical producers, where Martin was able to, and Dave were able to let down their guard a bit and take in musical input. Yeah, you know, and that carried right on through, right on through, really. After Exciter and Mark Bell,
the Angel,
you know, and so that's super positive, I think, because it allowed new relationships. I just wanted to say something about relationships, actually, because a lot of people have said to me over the years, you know, like, oh, that must be a great job, you know, like making records with people. And I've often said to people, actually, it's like any job. If you're working with nice people, it's awesome. Yeah. And if you're working with if somehow, and I've been very lucky, if somehow you finish up in a situation working with people who are somehow not nice, not kind, not supportive, it's horrible. Yeah. Sure. So I'm just underlining how important it is. The relationships we have with our colleagues. It's just so important.
Absolutely. I just had a little quick follow-up question, and I was always curious if you ever worked with another fellow by the name of Giorgio Moroder. He kind of had like the same kind of background and things, and just was wondering, you know, like he.
No, I never met Mr. Moroder. He's such a great genius, you know, and I was such a huge fan of. I think even in the 70s, I think I must have discovered his work with Donna Summer. I mean, I Feel Love. Obviously, everyone knows we're all music fans here, but that just blew me away. I could not believe it. I could not believe. I suppose that was a great example for me of soul and driving sequences, electronics and soul music coming together. That might have been one of the first examples of that I ever experienced when I heard that, hearing her marvelous voice and the channeling of the soulful spirit, and yet almost robotic underneath it. Anyway, great. What a genius producer, and musician, huh? What an amazing guy. I never met him.
Well, I think I speak for the group. I think we think you're a genius too. So,
thank you.
What a collaboration that would be if you both work together. But,
that's my tagline, isn't it? Genius Jones. That's my joke.
It's rightfully so.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, it's a good joke. I know. Yeah.
It suits you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I work hard on it.
Matt Colpin.
I'm just going to take a very quick bathroom break. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool.
If you want another
so yeah, we have a queue of questions, so you guys know.
Okay, sure.
How
many questions have you got, Rob?
There's over 10. Over 10 queue. So
okay, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, we'll just keep going as long as Gareth wants to, but I think he seems to be enjoying himself. And
Rob, did I hear my name then?
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Matt Colpin.
Yeah, you were actually next.
Oh, so. Hey, Vaughn, how's it going?
So I was just about to grab a beer, and then I heard Matt Colpin. Where are you? There you are.
Yeah, how's it going?
Hello, mate. How are you?
Go grab a beer, Vaughn. Right now's the perfect time.
Get a beer.
Your camera's very good, Matt. What is that? A DSLR with a video capture card or something?
It's my iMac Pro built-in camera.
Wow, look.
Good lighting.
Are you in Vince Clark's? Are you in Vince Clark's studio there? That's quite.
No. It's my shed at the bottom of the garden.
Matt, I do want to get you in on the Geek Talk one day for an interview because.
Well, before the lockdown, you were going to come here, weren't you? So.
Yeah, well, when the lockdown's over, my wingman and I.
Thing of the pandemic.
Yeah, my wingman Simon and I are going to come and gate crash you. All right, the man's back. Okay, the man of the moment's back. I'll go.
Yeah, squeeze around. Be careful.
I'm pretty skinny.
So Matt Colpin is up next.
Hey Gareth, how's it going?
Hey Matt.
So, couple of questions. I won't be too long. So, just first of all, I want to say Gareth is amazingly generous. So when I was starting on my musical journey and building my shed, I used to email Gareth, and he would always email me back and give me lots of technical advice, really helpful. And then I got to meet him. So I worked with Alan on his selected thing. I did all the artwork for him, and I got to meet Gareth at Hansa when you did that special gig, when you did the mashup of all the early Depeche Hansa records.
Reconstruction time again, right? Wasn't it? Didn't we call it that? Yeah. I think it's just construction time again, Matt.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. I think that's why it's called reconstruction time.
Okay. Right,
whatever we called it.
But you kindly gave me a tour of Hansa, so it was absolutely incredible. Getting a tour from the man himself. And
I remember that. Yeah.
What you were saying was that
your shed's come on. Look at that. Is that your shed? You're in your shed now. Look at that. Is that your ARP? Yeah. I mean, what ARP is that in the back? Sorry.
That's like you. I don't buy any vintage stuff. I only buy the new stuff. So So
is that
the Korg one?
The full size Korg one?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. My friend John's got one of those. He's just blown away by it. I love that. I'm so in love with the workflow of the 2600. I'm thinking about buying a Behringer. I'm sorry.
Well, same here. I want to get one as well, just because I can, you can't have enough, can you really? But anyway.
Anyway, it's beautiful. Your space looks beautiful.
But I remember you saying that you'd had a bit of a nightmare trying to pull that thing together, because everything you'd recorded had included all the ambient sound. There wasn't any kind of reverb added after the effect. So nowadays you would record everything dry and then add reverb. But I think what you were saying was everything at that point in time had been recorded with reverb in the ambient spaces, and it had been a nightmare. But my question was, does a recording of that exist? Because that would, for every Depeche fan, that would be amazing. Because
of the reconstruction time
Yeah,
gig.
I appreciate getting the samples clearance and all that sort of stuff would be an absolute nightmare. But that was, as a Depeche fan, standing in the middle of that room, listening to that being played was absolutely incredible. So yeah.
Yeah, great. I'm glad you enjoyed it, brother. We very much enjoyed doing it. We did another version in Rome as well. We did a small little mini tour, I think. I remember going to Rome with Daniel to do that as well. And that was super fun. There must be a bootleg somewhere. I don't know where it is. You know.
Well, I've never found one, and I never thought to ask the guy that was, because we were doing all the photos, so all the selected stuff that was released, all those photos that we were doing. So I could have took my little recorder and plugged it into the desk, but I never even thought of it. So
no, I didn't. I don't think I've got a recording. I think I've still got the Ableton sessions somewhere, but I don't even know if I've got those. It is something I really enjoyed it because it's something that you can do live legally, but you can't release. That's almost impossible to release because, as we said, we don't own the copyright in the recordings. But legally, you can DJ stuff out live. You can do DJ mashups, right? That's fine. You just log that's what you're playing. Yeah. Someone logs it, and the PRS goes to the writers, or however it works. So in that sense, live DJ work or live musical work is such a great fertile playground where you can really do things that would be almost, impossible to do high profile anyway on the internet. Obviously, there's loads of illegal mashups on the internet, but I don't know where that one is.
That was incredible. But so
I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and we enjoyed it too. The concept was just amazing. What we did, I mean, if anyone doesn't know, we took snippets from the construction time and we rearranged them and put beats underneath it, and so. Yeah, we just made, as Matt said, we just made a big mashup, basically. And it was about 45 minutes long, I think, the mashup. And we improvised. It was an improvised with dual Ableton setup and loads of controllers and pads.
Be worth its weight in gold.
We just improvised but it's ephemeral. It doesn't exist. Right, yeah. Because you can't. It's a moment, yeah. You can't release it. Because the copyright clearance would be impossible. Exactly. Anyway, thanks, Matt. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And congratulations on the awesome looking studio.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing your next musical endeavor.
Thanks. Cheers.
Coming to Great Crashes soon, Matt, I promise you.
Yeah, no problem.
Jess PJ is up next.
Jess.
Hi, Vaughn. Hi, Gareth.
Hi, Jess.
So I'd just like to thank you first off for many excellent musical memories you've given me with your work.
Thank you.
The question I got before was about Violator. That's kind of been covered. But I want to ask you a bit about concepts for albums. And speaking personally, I'd say Construction Time Again, when I first heard it as a 12-year-old young man, it was, this opened up this box really of this kind of soundscape of industrial sounds, world music, samples of, xylophones, all sorts of different things. And in terms of one of your influences, Kraftwerk, computer world, to me, sounds like being inside a calculator or an old computer or something like that.
Yeah.
So I suppose in that sort of visual sense, I'd like to ask you, is there any album you had in mind working on a project which gave you that kind of real buzz as a concept?
What, an album I didn't make, you mean?
I mean, in terms of an album you were working on, was there an album you had in mind by someone else?
No. My memory of those sessions was that that it was almost like we were in a bubble. Everyone listened to music, other people, but we didn't play other music in the studio or anything. I mean, Construction Time Again is all joined up, right? Though that was a big thing. I mean, obviously, I've mentioned I was a huge concept albums are not done better than by the Pink Floyd in a way.
Yeah.
I was a huge fucking Pink. Or actually, I'm earlier than that, but I'm in Dark Side of the Moon. I was, and everything before that. But anyway, so I was a huge fan of the story, the way the story is told through Dark Side of the Moon, which to me is a trip, man, a continuous trip. And it was an important trip for many people and an important part of many people's trips. So So when we you know got the chance, when I got the chance to help finish Construction Time again, I was like super keen on joining all the songs up with like crossfades and stuff, and like so much of the work that we were doing together in those days, we just shared an aesthetic. So I know it was very important to me. I don't know if it was my idea, but anyway, we did it. We tried to make the songs all join up. A nice running order emerged pretty quickly, and there it is. And somehow you can listen to Construction Time A and B side. Traditionally, it's an album of two halves, obviously, because it's made for vinyl, and then and there is a way that it kind of takes you through, and that was like super important for me, possibly inspired by Dark Side of the Moon, but also the great to go back to my classical music loving childhood, which I still have. I'm still a big classical music lover, and I don't want to get too pretentious about this, but a symphony might last an A and a B side of a piece of vinyl. So like, I don't know, like a Bruckner symphony or a Brahms symphony or something, it might be. So in some way, when I was making albums, and even to in some way, I'm making a complete work. Even when I make albums now, my album, Electrogenetic, it's supposed to be a complete piece. Of course, you can listen to the separate things if you want to, but it's supposed to be listened to from the beginning to the end. Like a symphony is supposed to be listened to. So all the symphonic, records that I heard in my childhood, I guess, fed into it as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, I think albums are great as little boxes of, a concept, like a box of, almost like a film should be seen as a film, and all the audio, the visuals go into it as one piece. Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm a huge album lover. I think it's a wonderful art form, and I think it's still really important to a lot of us music fans. Yeah. Obviously, playlisting and just chopping and changing between songs is a thing, but a lot of artists make albums to be listened to as albums, don't they?
Yeah.
So, for sure. Anyway,
great. Well, thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you, Jess. Cheers, matey.
But before we jump into the next question, Gareth, I'm just curious, not necessarily related to anyone you produce, but in general, the best concert you've ever attended, experience-wise, performance-wise.
Oh, I know. I saw. I don't know. No, I don't really know. Actually, I'm not a big concert. I mean, there's all kinds of things. I did see. This is really. I can't even remember. This is embarrassing in front of the fans, but I did see, and it's when we were in America, so it must have been at the end of Exciter, because we were in Santa Barbara. I saw a warm-up show in LA of Depeche doing some kind of warm-up show in a tiny club at
the Roxy. I was
in
there.
The Roxy.
If it was at the Roxy, I was.
Were
there.
you? Yeah. And that was amazing for me because at that stage they were playing in like massive stadiums, and to see a big band, a band of that in a tiny venue is awesome.
Yeah, it was funny because I'm 6'2", and the stage is so small at the Roxy that I was still taller than Dave when I was up front at the.
There you go. Awesome. Whatever. Yeah. That to me. That was. I mean, that fits in with the Depeche Mode theme of the evening. But that was incredible. I just felt so privileged to see that, because it's such a. I love I mean, it's awesome when you work with a band and you go to a venue and there's 50,000 people there. Of course, it's awesome because the music's touching all these people. But it's the intimate impact of an intimate gig. It's amazing, isn't it? That's why so many of us love all the early gigs when we see the bands when they're still really small, because they're only like playing a little pub or something. That's amazing.
Absolutely. The reason I was reminded of that was the Pink Floyd discussion. I went with my mom to see Roger Waters, and although Pink Floyd's not necessarily my favorite band, it was one of the top 5 concerts for sure I've ever attended. When I saw that they put on such an amazing show, or what Roger Waters did, that was
I did see an amazing David Byrne show recently as well, about 5 years ago. I don't even remember what the show was. It was truly incredible. Lots of dancers, lots of movement. He was dressed in a white suit the whole time. Anyway, whatever.
Awesome. Love that. We're going to move on to Miranda. And
that.
I
Cheers.
just said love. Cheers.
What's that? What are you drinking? Coffee? Is that?
So my son bought me for my birthday recently this beer. It's a berry ale called Jam Band.
Okay, nice.
So I'm drinking that right
nice.
now.
Okay, yeah, nice. Enjoy.
Thank you. Miranda, you're up.
Hi, Gareth. Hi, Vaughn. How are you doing?
Hi, Miranda.
I'm wondering.
Hi.
Hi. I'm wondering if you could tell us a bit about how you settled on your album title, and also how that coincides with your artwork, and specifically the pieces that you chose. And are they yours, and do they hold some sort of special significance for you?
Good question.
What are what mine?
The Ankh necklace.
Oh, I see. The pieces in the artwork. Oh, I've got you. Yeah, sorry, a bit slow. Yes, they are. The album title is all supposed to be the project name. Lots of people have said, oh, Electrogenetic by Gareth Jones, but actually it's supposed to be a self-titled debut. That's Electrogenetic is my modular persona. I've done a remix recently for Erasure that I've called Electrogenetic Remix, because I feel it's me and wearing my electrogenetic hat. So Electrogenetic is the title of the album and the title of the project, if you like. Briefly, I'll recap. I said the inspiration of the modular synth producing musical material that I can interact with and edit and manipulate is supposed to be highlighted or underlined by the title of the project. In other words, the project is birthed through the electronics. That's what I'm trying to get at with Electrogenetic, that it's come out of that many of the ideas have come out of my interaction with the electronics. So, and the artwork, that is a photograph of the Anken, it's my father's wedding ring that hangs on a piece of straight cotton over the lamp that's on my desk in the back bedroom at home, where I do my meditations and write my journal every day, and where my home musical setup is. And the background is the curtain of the room. So it's just a photograph of something that I look at every morning when I am writing my journal or reading. And I don't know, I guess one day I've got a camera in the room. One day the light was just coming through and it struck me, and I thought, oh, that's an important image. I need to get that. And I just grabbed it. And then later I thought, oh, that's the album cover. And the Electrogenetic font is a stencil that I found in my father-in-law's basement when I helped my wife clear out the house after her mum died. So I took the stencil and I liked that kind of, I don't know what it is. It's a kind of a 60s font. It's here. This is the same font. I had it made into a rubber stamp. There's a great, they can make a rubber stamp out of any image, right? And so I scanned, I took the font and had it made into a rubber stamp as well. And that it's like a working, my father-in-law, whose stencil it was an industrial painter. So it's kind of like a working 60s American font for me or something. Yeah. It's old. It's an old school analog thing for me. I actually made the font from a stencil. And this kind of analog approach of the whole modular synth setup, my whole synthesizer setup, is important to me. Because it's about, like the watercolor, it's about rough and ready. It has a life of its own. It's not pristine digital. It's not perfect. It has rough edges that I love. It bleeds into the paper. Loads of things about it I loved. So as soon as I saw the stencil sheet in the basement, I thought, that's it. That's what I'm going to make the Electrogenetic font out of. So that was kind of bit of magic, synchronous magic. Is that answering your question?
Pretty much, yeah. I just wanted to add.
Sounds like a no.
No, not at all. Just wanted to know more of the significance for you, but you've answered that.
Oh yeah. Well, obviously the ring is my father's wedding ring. That's the only physical object I took from that I have. Oh no, that's not true. I have a kitchen knife from my parents' kitchen as well. But his wedding ring, that's what I wanted from him. My mother was happy for me to have it when he died over a decade ago now. And I thought about having, I'm married, but I don't wear a ring. I don't feel that comfortable wearing it. I took it thinking I might melt it down and reform it into a wedding ring for myself, but I never did. And I kept it as a symbol of unity, I suppose. I'm not quite sure the ring's such an ancient symbol, isn't it? It's such a.
I assume that's why you chose it, and I just wanted to add that the Ankh, that's the Egyptian symbol for life or life after death.
Yeah, ongoing life, isn't it? Like, really, I can say life after death. I'm not sure. I don't think I subscribe to the life after death. I think that our art can survive us after death. Many people disagree. My wife disagrees with me, and we have a respectful relationship about it, of course. But anyway, the Ankh being a symbol of ongoing life, or regenerative life. I like that about the ring, the way it goes round as well, because that's the wheel of life. The ring is for me as well. It's yes, it symbolizes my father's gone, he's dead, but it symbolizes a kind of a rebirth. The ring, the circularity of it, I think is wonderful. And I'm very fascinated by these ideas as the decades roll on, obviously.
I also thought it was interesting that you chose electrogenetic instead of just electrogenic, which is, I sometimes get a little tongue-tied with that. But the genetic pretty much ties in with that it's in your DNA, and it's very family oriented as well.
And I quote from the Book of Genesis, right, on on the first track on the album, the beginning, because Genesis is about formation for me. I mean, I've got it. We're going to have to look at. I'm going to be pulling a dictionary up soon on that. but it's interesting. But yes, it's genetic, because it's DNA, yes, it's family, but also it's about birth and becoming something out of nothing. That's what Genesis is for me, especially in the symbolism of the. I mean, I'm not a practicing Christian. I have great respect for the message of Jesus as a great spiritual teacher, of course, and what a wonderful message it is. But I'm not a practicing Christian. But the Book of Genesis is important to me. It's where it all started.
Thank you. That ties it together.
It was a great question, Miranda. Thank you so much. Cheers. Thank you.
To be honest, Gareth, that's probably like one of the best album cover artworks I have ever seen.
Thank you, Larry. It's from the heart.
And something really funny and amazing just happened during this entire meeting. Hey, Vaughn, do you remember Esperanza?
Yes, of course.
Well, apparently she wants to adopt me. I'm being serious. It's in the chat. We were talking during this whole thing.
It's a character, yeah.
I've never been put in a situation like this before.
Harry, you're a good soul, matey, and we love you, man. We love you.
I'm going to actually have Atusa. Atusa's going to come on next to ask a couple of questions for people right now.
Atusa, back on. Hello again.
Okay. This question is for Natalie, who is here. She's a lovely, lovely fan from Canada.
Hi, Natalie.
Very short and sweet question. When you compose your music, while you're actually composing it, do you see colors? Do you see images? While you're actually composing.
I think that's called synthesis, when you actually see.
I don't think I have that crossover between the nervous system. No, I feel like I'm exploring a new world. I'm lost, actually, or exploring a whole new world of sound. I don't mind being lost. I don't mind hiking when I'm lost, because I know I'm going to find myself again. So I think I'm very focused on the sound.
Okay.
Atusa, if I can just say, I've heard of this condition before. It's called synthesis, apparently. You guys can look this up, synthesis. And I'm by no means, I'm no Gareth Jones by all means, but I have this thing where if I hear sound, I do colors. I see colors. And I always thought that was just a very individual thing. So when I'm and I get really.
I thought it was the mushrooms.
The mushrooms. Yeah. No, but it's just this is something I want to do a video.
I
on
definitely see colours when I say mushrooms.
Yeah, no, but it's very interesting because it was always with me. I would always see colours, and it's also when I do music now and I produce things, and I actually, this is just very anal. I'm going to get off this very quickly. Is when I look at things on my screen. Certain sounds have certain colors, and if I don't have the right sound attached to that, if I don't have the right color attached to that sound, it kind of freaks me out.
Yeah, I do that. I do that. All my sounds have to have the right color
okay.
on the computer.
Well, then you do have it.
Then. No, I don't. I'm just like nuts about organization. But anyway.
Anyway, it's a fascinating subject. Sorry, is there another question?
There's a question from Brady, who is on here. Who are the girls singing backup on Master and Servant demo? Daniel recalls Master and Servant being one of the most challenging mixes. What are your thoughts on that?
The girl singing is the assistant in the studio. We had an assistant called Steffi, and she was an engineer. She was a musician, a bass player actually herself, but she was also interested in engineering and production. And oh no, maybe I'm wrong. She's in the video. I don't know who did. I don't know.
In the video?
Maybe it's the girlfriends. Some of the Dave's girlfriend at the time singing the backing vocals. I can't remember. But anyway, that's that. So no, I don't know. Duh. And the other thing was about, yes, it was very challenging mixing Master and Servant. Very challenging because People Are People was a massive hit, and we were all a bit nervous. And we spent days mixing Master and Servant. And as I mentioned last week, we constructed the middle, what we call the middle eight, the middle's part of the bridge, the middle part of the song. We constructed at the mix stage because we thought, oh, it hasn't got a middle part, and so and it was very challenging working with tape like that. It's pretty trivial doing it in a computer now. You just open it up and put some new bits in and join it all up. But with tape, it was a super challenging it seemed like it at the time, super challenging piece of work. So yeah, it took a very long time to mix, but also we all liked the song because it's kind of little bit tongue in cheek as well. It's having fun, isn't it? It's not taking itself too seriously, really. It's trying to be powerful and pop out the speakers and get people's attention, but it is a kind of, we are kind of having a laugh in a way. And I think, so it was super challenging, but I think everyone thought it was worth the work.
Is it true the end of the song is the sound of Andy Fletcher being spanked by a ruler?
Really?
Yeah, that's
oh
true.
God!
I remember pulling his pants down myself. I did it myself.
Really?
Naked flesh. I said, Andy, it's got to be naked. You've got to get your underpants off. No, of course it's not true. Of course it's not true. I'm just making it up. I've got photographs to prove it.
Oh,
yes, please.
Go ahead, Atusa. You have more questions from.
Okay. We've got a question from Teresa, who is here, who's got laryngitis.
Hi, Teresa.
Did you, as well as Depeche Mode, see and feel your or their maturity over the course of each album? What was the most poignant moment during these times that you both take with you while in the recording studios or in the conversation with Depeche Mode? What do you both consider your greatest life's work, if it's an album or a song or an award?
Oh, man. These best of things are really difficult to do.
Who's your favorite child?
I don't. I don't know. Because we all grew up together, right? So it's like you don't notice, right? When you hang out with someone, you don't notice that they've put on weight or they've lost weight or they've, I don't even notice people's hair. I notice you've got blue hair, but you could turn up. I could see you on the thing next week and you might have yellow hair.
It was purple.
I wouldn't even notice.
It used to be purple.
So it's when gradually we grew up together. So I don't. Yeah, I don't know if we felt we're only in our 20s. I don't know if we felt we'd become more mature. I don't know. We might have felt we'd become better at what we were trying to do, perhaps. More knowledgeable, more technically. I mean, I don't think I started to grow up till I was about 40. I thought, I mean, don't get me wrong, when I was 20, I thought I knew everything. I thought I was king. I knew everything when I was 20. I would have been president of the United States if you'd have asked me.
Well, that's not odd.
No problem at 20. But then gradually, when I was about 40, I thought, I feel a little bit grown up now, maybe. I don't know, growing up. So I wasn't very aware of that. It's such an important part of my life, not only because it's wonderful guys and, wonderful project and so well received and great music and wonderful studio, all these things, but also it was my 20s, and it was when I was, it was a wonderful a growth part of my life. It's every decade special. Hey, my 60s are really special too, but it was it was and remains a very special part of my life. But I'm not nostalgic. I don't look back and think, oh, it was all so good back then. It was, I tried to be here now and embrace the present all the time. So, but it was a great learning curve, sure. And I take countless things for that. Songs, really, I learned so much about songs and making songs work properly. That's what I learned so much that stayed with me for decades after that.
Perfect,
excellent.
Thank you.
Ray Luna is up next.
Hey, Ray.
Hello, I had to unmute there. Hello, Vaughn. Hello, everyone. Hello, Rob. Thank you guys for hosting this. Hello, brother. How are you?
Hi, Ray.
Hello, Mr. Jones. Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, nice to see you.
I'm from Southern California, and
see Ray's beard. Now Ray's beard is a little bit longer than last week.
Yeah, it is
see?
actually. Yeah,
if I'd seen him every day, I wouldn't have known.
See, there you go. It's a little grayer too.
Yeah, there you go.
I just find it hilarious that you had said, "Oh, I was so arrogant when I was young," because you are so kind and so generous with your time. A lot of us in the group were talking about that all week. Like, wow, I mean, how humble and what a kind soul you are. Your work has obviously touched us all. And I mean, Construction Time. I mean, those albums, I was like 13 or 14 when they came out, and they made me through a lot of breakups, a lot of good times, a lot of bad times.
Me too, brother.
Yeah, and I mean, I listened to the songs, a lot of the instrumentals, things like that, the B-sides from especially Construction Time. I mean, And Then is probably one of my most like hopeful, when I need some hope. That's just me fanboying out. My question is, I think we're all pretty much going to try to get this thing funded because I want vinyl. I do have my Technics 1200 still.
Right.
I'm definitely going to head here to donate and everything. But you talked about being a Pink Floyd fan, and instantly the line from, I think it's Time, every year is getting shorter, never seem to find the time, half a page of scribbled lines, plans that ever come to naught. What's next? Because I am excited. If we get this funded for you, if we can get this going, are those half a page of scribbled lines, do we have more coming? Are you already working on the material for the follow-up? Because this is very exciting.
Yeah, I am working on, I'm working on a second electro. I'm doing other collaborations that I'm very excited about, with a very deeply important to me. But the next one that's probably going to come out is the record I've done called A Walk in the Woods with Chris Bono. We've got a project called Nous Alpha, Nous. Can I put that on the chat?
Yeah, I was going to write it. I'm taking notes.
Is there me to write to people?
Rob, you can do it. You're the guru.
Sure,
just type it out. Is it N-A-U-S?
No, N-O-U-S. Nous Alpha, A-L-P-H-A.
Yeah, we'll put links in the description below.
Anyway, that's a great. But there is I am working on an electrogenetic record as well. I definitely didn't want to be a one album project. It's part of my life now. I need to carry on making solo work because it's given me so much. I've met so many people who've enjoyed some of it. That's been great. And it's really profoundly important in my relationship with other musicians and my personal growth as a musician. I feel I've stepped up where I can share the work with other people, And I wanted to say, so then the second album is very much inspired by my father's record collection, which is, as I've mentioned, is classical music, a lot of it from the 50s. I mean, a lot of it from the 1500s, but I mean, the records are from the 50s and 60s. And I've got his vinyl collection and I play it. I've got a vinyl player in my Studio B, and I'm experimenting with sampling finding older recordings that I can use that are out of copyright, processing it through the modular, playing some of the melodies on the, I don't know where it's going yet, but it's going somewhere and I'm going to complete it. And I wanted to say one other thing. You spoke about an important B-side, because there's been this chat about important songs. And one of the things that I've learned about helping people make records is that because I value every song now, like a parent cherishes every child, because it's my experience over the years that there's always one song that you never even thought was that important, that someone comes and says, well, we got married to that song, or when my first child was born, or I listened to that song when I'm grieving for the loss of my cat, or could be anything. But there's always one song that's the most important song for someone, you know. Exactly. Everyone, and not just in massive bands like Depeche, but in the whole world, you know. And I think that's so important to get in your understanding. And it changed it was really talking to Depeche fans in the 80s when there'd be some weird little song that I never thought was that important particularly. Yeah. And then they'd say, oh, that one. And I was like, oh, I see. Yeah. Every baby, every child is just so important because it might be so significant to someone's life. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on about it, but thanks for giving me the opportunity to share that. I think it's important.
And thank you again. Thank you again. We look forward to any projects you have coming out. The more, the better. That's all I can say.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Cheers, and thanks for spreading the love.
Ray,
Ray,
thank you. Listen, I have to just jump in here. Ray, thank you very much, mate. I love your enthusiasm and everything. And and you've just actually echoed something that I've said in the beginning when I first heard the Electrogenetic album. I have to give the credit to my wingman Simon Forsyth when he said Gareth's got an album coming out, and I was like, what? Because up until this point, and this is why I've been very vocal about the Electrogenetic thing, is because we've all known Gareth as a producer and a mix engineer. So when I heard he was releasing an album, I was like, okay, this will be interesting. Now I expected it to be good, and it blew my mind. So, and I think this is where where a lot of people have been talking to me, as you have, Ray, as well, is that I feel that this is Gareth's chance now to, you know, there is value in him as, you know, being an artist and expressing himself and not just, you know, being the mix engineer and producer for other people. So, and you know, he's an artist in his own right, and I appreciate you for highlighting that, mate.
Thank you. Like, I love Alone Together. That's one of my favorite tracks. I'm glad you played it earlier.
That is my favorite song. It's Rob's favorite song. Matt's, yours. Yeah, I can't listen to it. It's very hard to listen to, you know, it's a very emotional kind of song.
With the headphones.
With that in mind, I suggest one of your experimentations, Gareth, with that piano sample you created, working on an album that's all piano with like each song has that as a bass.
Thank you for that suggestion, Rob. Okay, I'll take it on board.
Cool. Yeah, that song is such a great song.
I must say it has. Seriously though, because there has been positive feedback from you guys about that song and other people as well. Yeah. Song, whatever, and that is the only one that I wrote in that way, and that's given me pause for thought. And you've underlined that now by saying. So I will definitely be starting other pieces more traditionally, if you like, at the piano.
Because it's very melodic there.
Because it's an interesting, just an interesting workflow. It's just part of the workflow of the whole record. But that piece has resonated with. Yeah. It's resonated with me because it encouraged me to put a very personal text on there, which has also resonated with other people. And many people have been kind enough to say how it touches them. Yeah. A few people have been kind enough to, you know, so that's made me think, that's interesting. I need to learn from that. There's a way of working here that I need to embrace. So thanks for that.
Beyond that, I also learned the piano on my grandmother's antique piano, which is
Brilliant.
Like 120 years old. And I still have it.
Great. So, congratulations.
You know, just when I heard you say that, I mean, just everything you talk about is so from the heart.
Yeah,
and has such meaning.
It's a special thing, right? I just did the production with Jan Tiersen for where he plays a lot of piano. We were chatting about it before. And I encouraged him to bring his upright into the studio, his upright piano. And that's the piano he played when he was 20. As well, so the emotional resonance with that's the first piano he had when he was. Anyway, So it's a big thing.
That's important, yeah.
Let's take another question, shall we?
My grandma's 99. Somebody asked. She's 99 years old. She's still with us.
Yeah.
She's still with us.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
Enjoy
somebody
every
put it in the
moment.
chat. Sorry.
Enjoy every moment, Ray, because that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And our love.
Oh, and she loves the Beatles. I play the Beatles for her, and she sings. Her favorite is "Fool on a Hill." So anyway, that's not about me. It's about you.
We're gonna go to Gatis and Riga.
Hello, guys. And hi, Gareth.
Hello. Did you have a question?
Here I am.
Yeah. Hi, Gareth. I have a huge respect to you, so now I can tell you're an artist through and through. So, big respect.
Hi, Gatis. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, I'm gonna get us back on a less serious note. I'd like to ask about the recording process of Somebody and what you witnessed during the process. So, specifically, the recording vocals with Martin being naked.
Yeah.
So, what are your memories on that? And was that the Steffi girl you mentioned? I heard rumors that apparently there was a girl who accidentally walked in on him while he was performing or recording the vocals. So what are your memories about that process, and what is going on in the room, and the band's reaction, your reaction? Obviously you had a good laugh.
So the room where the vocal was recorded was remote from the room where we were recording. It was about 2 floors down. I connected up the tech guy, the technical supervisor of the building, to install tie lines across floors of the building so I could use the big hall downstairs, because we were a big client, so they were happy to do this for us. So we couldn't see Martin. So Martin said, I think I might need to take my clothes off to do this one, or something like that. So he said, yes, go on, Martin. But no one knows. Martin knows.
Only Martin knows. Okay.
Martin knows.
So you don't know what was the reason behind it?
Intimacy.
Yeah, he wanted to feel naked.
Intimacy. He wanted to have no barrier between him and the performance. He wanted to. I don't know if he was naked, man. That's what I'm saying. Only Martin knows. But you can see the idea is, you know what? It's like, I'm going to appear without makeup. I'm just going to be me as God, as I came into the world. I can see the philosophy, but I don't know if he did it. And no one knows apart from him, because we couldn't see him. We didn't have a video tie lines between the room. We only had audio between the room.
Oh, okay.
There were no video tie lines.
Yeah, because there's a rumor that Alan turned the piano around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, Alan probably knows.
Yeah,
he mentions it on the remastered DVDs.
There you go. Alan knows.
And
he said it was just him and Martin in the room, and he turned the piano around. So
there you go. So maybe Alan doesn't even know because he didn't even look.
Yeah.
But while I was in Hunter Studios, I heard rumors of someone who actually was working there. I don't know, as an assistant or something. You mentioned about the girl walking in on Martin.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I don't. I mean, it was, it's no big deal anyway, is it? It's like, you know what I mean? Big deal. I used to go to the sauna in Berlin all the time. Everyone's naked all the time. Hey, it's no big deal. Yeah. So I got no clothes on. Yeah, duh. Who cares? I mean, I could do this naked if you like.
Yeah, definitely.
and of course,
just joking. I wouldn't put you guys through that. I would
Yeah.
not put you through it.
Okay, Gareth, good luck with your project.
Thank you so much, brother.
Okay, that'll get your album funded. There you go.
Yes, take my money.
My naked
Take
ass.
my money.
People will pay money for me not to show my ass.
It's trip time.
well, it is fun. It is funny that in Europe it's much different than in America, like as far as nudity goes. But
not in Britain. Britain's the same as America. Uptight Protestantism, but Europe, Northern Europe, the sauna's a thing. You don't go to, you can't. It's like you can't go in the sauna with clothes on.
Right.
They won't even let you in, probably. In fact,
and I'm not complaining. I love it when when I was in Barcelona. You go down the beach and there's all these beautiful women out on the beach that they're just
and beautiful boys. Don't forget the beautiful boys. In fact, there's one of my favorite hotels in Berlin that I often try to stay to when I visit now. In the sauna there's a sign saying specifically you cannot enter with bathing costume on. It's not like, it's not the other way around. It's not like you have to be undressed in order to use the facility, because that's considered hygienic. Everyone has a shower before they go. Anyway, whatever. Let's move on.
So speaking of nudity, someone who broke out the new Depeche Mode AC book with just a picture of them in the book without any clothes. Let's go to Psycho Jones. Oh, you're muted right now, Psycho Jones. There you go.
Hello. I just hope you can hear me. Good to be back in the show today. I really enjoyed last week. Really, really great. My question basically was already asked by Ray. So, I don't have a real question. I mean, but I'm
nice to say hello.
Hello, Gareth. And I hope you had the time to read my long review I sent you.
I did, yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I was listening to it for at least 1 week to the album when I wrote it, and
I appreciate you taking the effort to listen and write the review. There's a bit too much about Alan Wilder in there, I thought.
I'm sorry. That was just a
fanboy alert.
Yeah.
Don't worry. No, really, thank you. I enjoyed reading it. Thank you.
Yeah, basically my question was about your future plans. So I wanted to ask if there's going to be a second Director Genetic album.
There's definitely, as I said, there's definitely going to. I mean, I have to, I have to commit again. I guess I need to make a personal contract with myself again. Say, okay, it's got to be finished. I mean, for sure, it's got to be done next year. I'm not going to make it by the end of this year. I've got to do it. I've got to say, okay, and I don't spend a whole year doing it. I can't afford to take the time out to do that. Obviously, I've got bills to pay like everyone. But over the course of next year, I want to complete the next electrogenetic album.
I will reorder it right now already if it's possible.
I'm making a contract with everyone. Look at all these people have heard.
Yeah, you've pretty much
not like the first record.
I was say,
the first record, I just told 2 people the stakes are high. Yeah, thank you.
We'll hold you to it too.
I ordered the vinyl, of course, and I ordered the CDs because there's a reissue now again.
Yes, so I spoke. Well, thank you for your message. I spoke to Paul and said that I'd had a couple of emails, and he said, "Well, we can do a repress if you like, because it's not limited. He just doesn't want to. He doesn't make too many because he doesn't want a cupboard full of unsold CDs. Obviously, who does?
Yeah. I ordered, so I got the.
Thank you. I appreciate your support and everyone's.
I'm a collector. Thank you. I love your music.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Psycho Jones. Cheers, bud.
All right, so let's continue, and thank you very much.
Cheers, brother.
And on that note, again, to help him get to his next project, let's help him fund this project to get that vinyl done. Like, I know a lot of you have already done it, but for those of you who are considering it, it's absolutely amazing opportunity. You're going to be credited in the record. It's signed and limited edition, and it's quite a value. So I'd hope you guys all help support Gareth if you can. So going back to one more question from another person that asked and was super excited when we announced this, back to Beto.
Thanks again. Hi, I'm maybe the last question. Wait, I don't know.
Did you have a question or no? Because your hand was up. You just muted yourself, by the way. You're muted.
No, you muted.
Sorry, I think I muted him by mistake. Sorry. I was trying to
ask to unmute.
Sorry.
Maybe we didn't. Maybe he muted himself.
I don't know.
Sorry. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Hey, I can hear you.
Okay, there you go.
Thanks again. Okay, we're talking about Depeche Mode. We are Depeche fans. I need to know something different about your life, Gareth. We know about very points about in this moment of your life, but we have different things like your pictures, like other things. I guess we can find another way about your like you know. I try to finish with this my ask about what do you like to eat, what do you like to hear, what do you like to think about life, to think about other question, many importance like person, because we know you are important to the page, but you are more other things about the page. I know you are of the page fan. I have many questions. We cannot finish about that, but I just want to finish about this question about your life.
Thank you. What do I'm a Green Party member. I eat plants. Mostly I eat plants. I don't eat any meat. That's what I eat. I like loads of different food, but plant-based. And I explore. I'm constantly. I love reading. I try to embark on a journey of reading. I'm reading a book at the moment called The Passion of the Western Mind by Richard Tarnas, which is like a history of Western thought. I've just read a wonderful book called Entangled by Merlin Sheldrake. It's about mushrooms. He's a scientist who's very interested in the network of the mushrooms that keep the forests alive. He's talking a lot about how the trees and the fungus are in symbiosis. The tree doesn't exist without the mushroom, and the mushroom doesn't exist without the tree. Very interesting book. I'm very interested in ecology and science and biology and life. You know, I'm a big movie fan. I was speaking about Mank. I'm happily married to my dear wife. We've been together over 30 years now. And we've been married, I don't know, about 15, 16 years. So that's an important part of my relationship. We both had COVID, but we lived through it without going to hospital.
Yeah.
So I give thanks every day. Hey, what can I say? You know, I ride my bicycle. I love riding my bicycle in the city. I arrived today at the studio by bicycle. I try to look after myself and be positive and grow. I'm trying to keep growing, brother. We just all need to keep growing. We just need to grow and open and embrace new ideas and keep learning. That's what I'm doing.
Of course, of your soul.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I come to Mexico, try to eat something here.
Yes. We can eat vegetarian Mexican food. Man, that's great.
Yes, we have a lot of fruits. We have a lot
I know you do. I know you do. Yeah, I'm down.
I'm just going to tag it on this. I mentioned it in chat that Martin Gore credits Gareth for turning him onto vegetarianism.
Yes.
He turned into a vegetarian because of it. Do you mind talking a little about that and your talks regarding that?
Well, what regarding vegetarian?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, when I was, I think it suits me actually. I think different people have different needs in their body. It suits me spiritually, emotionally, physically. I'm very comfortable. I don't feel I've given anything up.
I've been vegetarian for 30 years.
Yeah, so I very much eat what I want to eat. You know, I'm not one of these people who really wants to go and eat a steak, but I don't like I will eat a vegetarian sausage or something. I don't mind the odd bit of vegetarian food that's disguised meat, but I'm not one of these people who has to have all, fake meat as a vegetarian. I just love eating plants, and I eat some dairy, a little dairy, not much. So to me, that's important. For me, I suppose suits me. It's obviously very important for the planet. As you know, there's not enough food on the planet for us all to eat an American diet or a Western meat-based diet. The only way we can all eat together is if we eat very little or no meat. So that's super important, I feel. My vegetarianism emerged from psychedelic experiences when I was quite young. My early psychedelic experiences, walking in the meadows and the fields around where I was living, and seeing all the animals in the in the fields. It just did not sit right with me. Going back, starting to feel hungry. What am I going to eat? You know what? I think I'll eat a cow. It just didn't sit with me because I'd formed this kind of, as many people do in profound psychedelic experience, I formed a unity, a oneness, a view of the world as one, and it just didn't feel appropriate to me. And gradually, then I learned more about it and learned more of the economic value and the health value as well. So it's been a lifelong thing, really. I've had phases. My wife is a extremely healthy eater, but she is she's Greek American, and she is a Mediterranean diet is what she eats. So she doesn't. So she eats meat, only happy meat, and not much of it. But so it's not. I'm not like preaching about it. I accept my wife's choices with love, But
respect.
So it's not for everyone, but it's certainly for me. It suits. And I know what I was going to say. There was a period in my life when I ate meat, when my wife and I started cohabiting. She asked me if I would help her cook some meat, and she was very keen. But I moved away from it. It didn't sit comfortably. So I'm not. Yeah, and it's great. It's what a wonderful diet it is. A world full of plants. I love plants.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That's great. Yeah, thank you. And next up, we have a Tusa to ask another question for someone.
Hello, this question is from Monica, who was here all day, but she had to go.
Okay.
Do you have any go-to songs or books that have helped you during this pandemic?
Oh, probably. I need notes for this. The mushroom book's really good that I spoke about. Entangled is called, by Merlin Sheldrake. It's a hardback still at the moment, so it's a little bit expensive. But that's and I've read other books. So that what else have I read in the pandemic? Songs. I'm a big. We have a wonderful. It's not exactly largely classical music station in the UK. Radio 3, it's called. And I put that on often morning and night. They have jazz and world music as well, and all kinds of alternative music. But it's not the pop and rock station. A lot of and they have a huge series this year because I think it's the 250th anniversary of Beethoven's birth or death. I don't know, some massive Beethoven anniversary. So there's masses of Beethoven being played, and very knowledgeable musicians and presenters talking about his life and his work and his fuck ups. Basically, he was basically an emotional wreck, and always struggling for money, like many artists, so interacting with the radio and hearing all these wonderful talks and all this wonderful music has been really, really helpful for me. But I'm a pretty positive person anyway about I wrote some wonderful music in the pandemic, and I was fortunate that I had enough food and I had enough money to get through without too much work. And I did a little bit of work remotely without meeting anyone. So I kind of feel very privileged that I could come through it without too much personal hardship. Right. So, but having said that, the amount of music work I did at home on my laptop with my small setup at home was really great. So I feel it was a very special time for me, where I did some new projects that are great and finished some old projects that was really good. About 3 or 4 original records I did in that time in collaboration with other people. So it's really special.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish I could think of some more books, but my mind's a blank at the moment.
No worry.
Gareth, you mentioned.
I've.
Excuse me, Gareth. You mentioned Mank.
Yeah.
So, Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails did the soundtrack. Are you familiar with Trent Reznor's work at all?
Of course. Yeah. I didn't mean him and Atticus did it actually. It's not just
exactly.
him.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Do you like what he's done, like his soundtrack or his work?
The soundtrack's wonderful, but it's one I talked about this recently with someone. The great thing about it was, and we're going to watch Mank again because it's so densely written. It's a film about a screenwriter from the golden age of Hollywood. So obviously it's very wordy, very dense. There's loads of illusions. There's loads of famous actors and movie movie studio owners and moguls. It's just right. It needs to be watched about 5 times before you've got everything, I think. But the score didn't. It wasn't one of those movies where I came away and went. We looked at the music credits at the end, and Nikki said, "Oh, there's only 2 songs in the whole movie, but there's a score all the way through." But it didn't. I'm going to listen to the score on Tidal, I guess, and listen to it on its own. And I really enjoyed the movie, and the score's obviously a big part of that. But I couldn't tell you what it was like, the score. I was so absorbed in the movie and the dialogue.
Yeah, from what I've heard of it, it sounds like a little bit of a departure from what they've normally done, because they've obviously had to tie into the time era. But yeah, it seems interesting. I definitely want to see that movie.
Yeah, it's great. It's black and white movie as well. It's awesome.
And the actor, of course, Gary Oldman is amazing. So another question. You had mentioned when you weren't initially interested in Depeche Mode because they were on the radio. Once you recorded Construction Time Again with them, and there was that airplay success, did that kind of change your mindset about airplay? Or
Sure did. I tell you why as well, because it was really awesome just going around town and hearing songs that you'd helped make come out of the radio. That was really special. And that hadn't really happened to me before. That was amazing. You go in a club or a bar or someone's home, or someone's radio would be on in the car, and they'd be playing a record that you think, I know that record. Oh yeah, duh, I made it. That was really special. Yeah, it was really special. It's a long time ago now, but I remember it totally changed. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Excellent.
Then I started to lose a bit of arrogance and think, oh, you don't know everything after all.
Larry had another question. Go ahead, Larry.
So I had like a few questions about the song Master and Servant. I know what it's about. Don't ask. But I wanted like to ask about like the whips and like the song. Were those real whips that you were using?
Yeah, I think we sampled some real whips as well, but some of the fans know better than me, because we talked about this last week, and someone said that it wasn't a real whip. It was someone making the sound of a whip with their mouth, possibly Daniel, going or something like that. So that rung a vague kind of bell, but as I said, I can't really remember the 80s. But it was, so I'm sure we had a real whips, but they were for some reason, like in movie soundtracks, very often the sound that you hear isn't the real sound in a certain kind of movie. It's done in Foley afterwards. Could be something totally different. So yes and no, both. It was both a real whip and not a real whip.
Okay, so like I just listened to like Master and Servant yesterday, and what I want to know, like, were you like on like the set for like the music video for the song?
No, I never went to the music videos because I was usually too busy trying to help finish the record. Because especially the earlier singles, the video was made whilst the record's still being made. So no, I didn't go to the video shoots.
Okay, so like there's this one part of the video that like intrigues me. Like there's this woman that's like strobing and like and she's lip syncing to the parts that go, "Let's play Master and Servant." Yeah. And I tried to like research to find out who she was. Like, is she an actress? Is she a model? Who is she?
That is her name is Steffi something or other. I can't remember, but she was the assistant engineer on the session.
Oh, yeah. Master and Servant actually did cause a bit of controversy because of its sexual nature.
Yeah, well, popular pop art with sexual undertones and overtones will cause a bit of controversy, I think. That's that's happened forever, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's nothing to do with that's just happened forever. There's always controversy. Oh no, Madonna's got her tits out. Whatever. It doesn't.
Thanks, Larry. We're gonna go on to Yoko now.
Okay. Hi, Yoko.
Yep.
Yoko, you there?
She's unmuting herself, I think. Looks like.
Oh yeah. Hello. Thanks for the postcard.
Oh, you got the postcard. Awesome. Thanks for ordering it.
Yay. Thank you. My question is, what was it like working and living in Berlin in the 80s before the wall came down? Also, did you manage to see the wall came down as well?
No, not really. No, it was awesome. I liked it a lot. It was very special. You know, hey, I moved there when I was 28, I think. And so it was very exciting to go and live in a different country. And it was a very special atmosphere. I enjoyed cycling a lot. So I did a big cycle trip where I cycled from my home out to the wall. And then I cycled round the wall all day. Then I cycled home. And then next weekend, I did the next bit of the wall. And the weekend after I did. So I cycled over about a month. I cycled around the whole perimeter of the wall in the West German side, obviously. Yeah. So that was super special. I met loads of people. It was, you know, a whole different world from what I was used to. So it was, and I love Berlin. It's a great city. Big cities are amazing anyway. I think so many of the big cities we've made are they're so fantastic and so terrible both at the same time. To get back on both, and you know, London has a lot of problems, but it's an amazing city. And New York, and so many cities. There's something very special about city. So that was fun. When the wall came down, an actress friend of mine came and rung my bell, and she said, "You've got to come down to wherever it was, Potsdamer Platz or wherever it was. The wall's coming down." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm busy working on a new song. I can't come down." She was like, "You've got to come." I said, "No, I'm not coming." So I didn't go. I missed it. I missed the actual wall being taken down because I was too busy playing with my new synthesizer or computer or whatever.
You missed David Hasselhoff on the wall.
That was later, wasn't it? The concert? I don't know. But it was, yes, it was a very special time for me personally, you know. An amazing city.
Thank you.
Thanks, Yoko. Tusa, you have another question for someone.
I do. It's another long one from Yuri, but I'm going to try to condense it for you. It's about recording during Black Celebration and how it's got very elaborate electronic sounds that really define the future sound of Depeche Mode. Obviously, that was very hands-on for everybody that was in the studio and for you. How did that whole process compare to artists that you've worked with? Is it a huge difference altogether? How does that compare and contrast?
No, I can only go back to what I said before about Black Celebration. It was very intense because we did the whole thing top to bottom. So that's a unique experience for me in my life where I've not taken a day off in making a project, because days off are really good because they help refresh and rejuvenate the creative spirit too. Someone said, like sleep's a good thing. Sleep is the aphrodisiac of creativity. Someone's told me. I thought that was really brilliant. And I didn't get enough sleep for a long time, but if we get sleep, it can promote creativity in a really great way. So so the main thing about the Blacks, so yes, it influenced how I worked with other people in the sense that I never did it again. I did it once and I thought, nope, I'm not doing that again.
Do you happen to remember the start date and the end date for that
yes.
whole thing?
No, sorry.
I know that it seemed like on the DVD remasters that Daniel Miller was talking about November 1st, almost as if you guys were just starting it. And I know you said you recorded Strip the Rockets on November 5th, but it probably took you at least a couple months, and you didn't take a day off during that entire time, right?
Yeah, but I don't think we didn't work through Christmas. That's for sure.
Oh, okay. I thought you did work on that one particular.
No, Wire was Ideal Copy that I worked through.
Oh,
Christmas.
okay, yes, Wire.
I think it's in my memory, Rob. My memory could be better, but my you know, because I did smoke a lot of weed back then, so the memory is a bit blurry. But not anymore, of course. Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, don't do drugs, kids. But but as far as I remember, the only record I ever worked through Christmas was the Ideal Copy. So I think that's suggesting that Black Celebration must have been finished by the time, and I think it was a 3 months project. So
Okay.
it might have been finished by Christmas. But I do remember getting a lot of stress from the band about getting the mixing finished because they wanted to go on holiday, and it was cutting into their holiday time. So maybe this was a winter holiday thing. So counting backwards, 3 months would have been roughly 6 weeks in England and 6 weeks in Germany. So if we finished maybe about December the 20th, say, that would have allowed us to be in England on November the 5th. So it kind of, you know.
So so you mentioned, I remember seeing on the videos that during Some Great Award, I think it was Alan stuck around while everyone else went on holiday. So for Black Celebration, did everyone stay before to their holiday?
I think so. I don't think anyone left. I think we were just, I think because this philosophy, I think that would have been breaking the magic, because this philosophy thing was, and maybe that's why we got stress from the band, because if we hadn't had this commitment to attend the studio every day until it was finished, then if I don't know, if David wanted to go on holiday and all the vocals were finished and he trusted us to finish the mix, he could have just said, you know what, I'm out of here, maybe. But I think perhaps it was very like a claustrophobic. It's the word I'm looking for. It's a claustrophobic, and that atmosphere is obviously embedded into the music and the production. So you know, it's all makes sense in a crazy kind of way.
That is a word I've used a lot on my album review series when I talk about Black Celebration, is the word claustrophobic, and especially that opening song. And I'm not going to get into any geeky reasons why, but what I think one of the main reasons is not only these sounds and the textures, but also if you listen to like the cymbals, there's not like there's no sort of like brightness to it. It just has this, and once again, it's very difficult to verbalize. It has just got a claustrophobic sound.
Dark,
very dark. Yeah,
that's what we were going for.
And that's why it's my favorite album. Actually, it's like the Empire Strikes Back of the Star Wars saga. But
oh, great! What a compliment.
Yes. So Mike from Seattle had a question.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, I have more of a suggestion than a question.
Okay, I'll take suggestions.
Vaughn, you still have the Alan Wilder sound banks, yes?
I do, yes.
What about you guys do, as stupid as they are, almost a reaction video with Gareth listening to the sounds, and because you know you've been talking about how you don't always remember what you did or this thing, and about the 5.1 and how that was cool hearing it all, but to be able to just to flip through sounds.
Well,
it's like a bad trip.
Yeah, it was in my studio last week, and I wanted to for you fanboys, but I just thought, I could have done this for you guys. I wanted to take a photo of him next to the emulator, which is the one that Simon's got on loan to me that he's never going to get back, by the way. And I thought it would just be a little bit cheesy, but no, the thought has crossed my mind. But it's just like I just think, and I don't want to speak on behalf of Gareth now, but I just think he is so Depeche Moded out by all of this stuff. So I'm very grateful for him to have come to my channel and to be here tonight. And I just think you have spoken to death. Look, he's grinning big. He's spoken to death about Depeche Mode, and that is why I think we should really raise our glasses to him now and say this might be one of the last times we actually get. But however, never say never. I don't know. I think that would be fascinating as a reaction video to have the Emacs loaded up.
I tell you what I'd like to do. I'd like to do one. Have you seen that show where they sit down at the old multi-tracks and play you the multi-track? I'd like to do one of those.
Well, I tell you what,
that'd be interesting. But the trouble is, of course, where's the multi-track?
No, but all I'm trying to say is, and it's like me being respectful. There's nothing worse than being a busybody that's trying to milk someone for something that they don't want to talk.
No, I just think think those things are that's interesting. I've enjoyed seeing that with some other great producers, where they go and you just have the opportunity to hear the different tracks on their own. I do think that's a super interesting thing, and I'd be interested myself to go back to some of the multi tracks and say, oh wow, hear that, It's
not
like hearing an
suggesting it.
instrumental. These things shine sometimes when you hear them in solo.
Yeah, and
as
I'm not
well.
suggesting it for myself. I'm
No.
because
No,
of
no.
how you.
It's a cool thing.
I
I like that show. It's called what's it called?
Yeah, it was called the Rock Planet Rock.
Oh, that might be a different one.
There's a Planet Rock, yeah, where they sit with the but
classic albums.
I
classic albums. That's what it's
classic
called.
albums. That's
Thank
right.
you.
And I think what I've tried to show Gareth now, and what he's obviously probably can see is, you know, you've never done this before. We actually talk to people like this, and you can actually just see all the I don't want to say the admiration stuff, but you can just see when these people's faces pop up on the screen how excited they are about it. Now, this is because you are responsible for some of the memories of their life, really. And
No, I'm not responsible. No, I always try to make this. It's very important. I've been very lucky to work with some fantastic bands.
Well, you helped facilitate it into a way that made it very audio, you know, enjoyable for us to hear. So.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. And it is, and all these, everyone's an artist in, you know, technician. It's a sound art work in the background as well. But it's always, you know, I always feel it's important to underline just how much the reflected glory I get from Depeche Mode is marvelous, and it's been a positive part of my life. But always, of course, it's about the band. It's, you know, the band are incredible. So, you know,
there is
that.
But if
so I need to say cheers to the band, but I don't have a beer. I'm just going to get one.
It's okay. But, you know, while Gareth's going to get a beer, and I'm going to say this, I use this, you know, always like to use metaphors because I'm not very clever. So I have to come up with these little things so it makes it easy for myself. But I think this is a very good analogy. Imagine if I was a chocolatier. I made really, really nice chocolate, but my presentation was crap. Yeah. Then you go to someone who can actually package this chocolate in a nice way, put it in a nice box, you know, and present it to the world in a nice way. Because, and I think there is importance in this. So if you make great chocolate, it tastes nice. But if you can find someone who can actually package it, make it look nice and present it in a very good way and mold it, it's going to come across better. And I think there is no better way to explain, you know, because Gareth's quite modest. He always goes to say, put those mushrooms down, Gareth.
See, funnily enough, the example of not everything that's popular being good, I always used to think about chocolate. There's some chocolate's really popular, but it's really crap. So I do. But it has that's an unfortunate analogy, I think.
I've just taken a screenshot of that. Actually, that's great.
I did too.
But you know what I'm saying, guys? I think that's you know, Gareth was very modest. He goes, "Oh, the band were great." I understand that, and I also think, you know, I always talk about, you know, that's why I always play the songs on piano, because I'm always trying to show people that these songs are great, you know. And I think even if you don't have a great producer, as long as your songs are good. However, if you've got great songs and a great producer, that is when things are going to really work for you. And I think
a great record company
and a great yes, he's being modest
and
again.
Great artwork,
but you guys
and a
know
great video, and great fans.
But coming back to you, Mike, this is something that and it's up to the man himself here. I think he's seen how much enthusiasm there is here in such a big way that, you know, you guys often, we saw this with Dave Bascombe as well, how you guys know more than Dave. I'd asked Dave Bascombe these questions and I was telling him the answers. He's like, I don't know. So, but I think, and time permitting and everything, being respectful of his time, and if there is enough interest, you know, I think that would be great to sit with an Emacs there and just fire off a few samples. And but you know, the multi-tracks, I don't know, maybe we can get all the multi-tracks. But I think I do want to just emphasize that, you know, Gareth is showing us great respect here tonight. And
absolutely,
yeah.
And thank you for having us on, Rob. I really appreciate it.
I along the lines of the multi-track thing. So I went to the NAMM show this year, like one of the few things that actually happened in 2020, right? And I got to sit down and I was basically right in front of them. It was amazing. The guy who does this multi-track thing, I don't even know the guy's name, but I went because they had Robbie Krieger from The Doors, the guitarist, and the producer, Bruce Plotnick, at the NAMM show, and they went through LA Woman, like track by track, and it was
brilliant,
phenomenal. And
yeah, man, I know that's an amazing thing.
I would absolutely look into like this. So the guy who does it, he gets them somehow over the internet or whatever, and I think it's from a local LA radio station. I will absolutely look into seeing how we can get that done with you if you're up for doing it for like either Black Celebration or Some Great Reward. And I mean, of course, even Construction Time, but in my mind, Black is the one that would be ideal.
He's not so keen on Construction Time, is he?
No, he's not.
No, you know what? I like the album, but I feel like it went to another level at Some Great Reward and Construction or Black Celebration. And I don't know if, like you had mentioned earlier, you said you were like more of an engineer on Construction Time, and maybe you became more involved as a co-producer on Some Great Reward and Black Celebration with Daniel, working with Daniel. But for sure, the sound, I mean, of course, Construction Time took it to another level from departure from what was going on with the Broken Frame. But Some Great Reward took it into whole new sonic territory. Like there's no no question whatsoever. So to me, those two albums are super key in Depeche Mode's evolution. And that's why it would make most sense to go through like track by track on either one of those albums. But if you're interested, like you said, I will absolutely like try to track this guy down. And even if we can't do it on Global, which I would love to do it here, but even if he does it anywhere else, it would be amazing to be able to watch and hear that. Like if you get,
I don't know I have no idea how you clear the copyrights. I've no idea, but he will know. So
he will know. Yeah.
If you get any feedback, let me know. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I will absolutely look into and pursue this for sure. Cause I think that would be amazing. Phenomenal.
It is amazing. Yeah. It's an amazing experience, especially for many music lovers who are not used to hearing the details of the multi-track. You know, it's amazing for a studio head who knows how it's all put together. But, you know, a lot of music fans don't ever get the opportunity to hear the individual tracks. It's special.
And it's great to hear the individual tracks, but to have the insight from the people who are involved, like yourself, like even
you have to remember, Rob. Yeah, you have to remember, if I do it, it'll be like, oh, I don't remember doing that. Oh, I don't remember doing that either. Oh,
well, and the funny thing is that Robbie Krieger, you know, this was the 60s, right? So, you know, the Doors were tied to drugs completely, but he had all these little details that he pointed out, like, oh, fast forward to this point, and there's this little riff that, you know, like, even it wasn't parts that he played, but it was such a phenomenal experience. Like, it was amazing.
Okay. And see, what I was getting at was, I was hoping it would trigger memories. Like, you know, it's hard to remember stuff you did when you're not in that context. But you know, sound here, you know, you hear things and it triggers memories, and so you might remember things that you've long forgotten just by hearing a sound.
Of course, in the way that a smell can be extremely evocative.
Exactly.
Or you dream something after 40 years that you never had imagined that you'd even never remember.
Yeah. Totally.
No, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
I think to also just, you know, and this is the last I'll say about it, to play on Vaughn's analogy, because I'm the same way. I love using analogy.
I thought you can say you love chocolate.
Well, that too, but I'm just as interested in learning how they made the box for the chocolates and admiring the design of the box for the chocolates as I am the chocolate itself.
No, absolutely. So am I. I mean, it's an important part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Psycho Jones, you had a question. You're muted.
I'm back. I totally forgot one point of my question was there was this bonus track on the CD.
Oh no.
Math Beauty, and I haven't listened to it yet, but I ordered the CD and it's not in the download included in the CD. Are there any other bonus tracks that are still hidden and you didn't release from this electrogenic?
No, there's not, because I worked a bit like our friend, not our friend, you know, a bit like Martin Gore, who legendarily doesn't write excess material. I worked up everything that I had, and I didn't select from like, you know, 20 pieces and say, oh no, these are the best. I worked on everything that I had, and I thought, okay, but there is, I did speak about these field recording pieces that I made that kind of started my whole process of completing my own music based on collages of field recordings. And I felt that they were like it. They have something to do with electrogenetic. And so I'm thinking one of the things I'd like to do, the time is short, but one of the things I'd like to do is take those two field recording pieces and re-edit them, make them, remix them, I suppose, and make them available under the electrogenetic umbrella. Because there's something in there. They're a bit dense. What I did with them before is a bit dense, a bit overcomplicated and everything. And I'd like to do a more simple and transparent version of them. So they might somehow become extra tracks or somewhere. I don't know.
All right.
It's on my mind, you know. But no, there's no extra tracks from the session. Everything I had is there.
But as I got this track is only available if you buy the CD. It's not.
No, it's not actually. If you buy the full album on Bandcamp, you get it as well.
Okay, I didn't get it. I got the download.
Oh, maybe it's only my Bandcamp. I've got a little band. Electrogenetic have got a Bandcamp as well, but I didn't push that because my friend Nick at Calm and Collect, they're my label, my digital label. So maybe they didn't do it.
No. Okay. I bought it on Wormhole, the CD.
Yeah.
So, then I just downloaded it after I bought it, but it was not included in the set.
Track's not there. Okay. Well, we should mention that to Paul. Maybe he'll make it available as a download when you buy the whole CD.
Yeah,
Paul might do. So maybe Paul's vision is certainly on my Bandcamp, the Electrogenetic Bandcamp. If you buy the whole album, you get Mass Beauty as an extra.
All right.
I'm not saying don't go and buy it there again, please. You'll get it on the CD soon. So.
Okay, thank you very much for this.
Yeah, thank you.
So Melissa has a question, and then I think I'm going to ask one more question myself, and then that we could let you go because I know you've already spent so much time. And absolutely, I mean, feel free to join us still if you'd like to, but I don't want you to. You've already been on almost for 4 hours, so absolutely, thank you. So Melissa, you had a question.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for letting me ask the question. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, Melissa. Hi.
Okay, great. Hi. Nice to meet you. Okay. So the fact that you're doing all of this, meeting with us, all the storytelling that you're doing, building that anticipation, for the release of this album that we're all that I ordered, by the way. I actually ordered one. And for on the record, by the way, and then just building that experience, that's going beyond the music and putting us inside of that, aspect of how you're getting there is just unbelievable. And thank you so much for taking this time to do that and share that with us, because that's a huge part of this, and that makes a lot. But my question is in regards to the album, because I love art, and what was your inspiration for the album cover itself?
The album cover is my view from my desk when I'm writing. I've got a little desk in the back bedroom where I sit every morning and drink my tea and write my journal. I'm a big fan of journaling. I write my thoughts. It's not. I don't know what. I write my thoughts and my dreams. It's not a diary or a planner. It's a planner as well. But and the album cover is a photograph of what I see from my desk, which is the ankh and the ring are hanging over the light and the red curtain is behind. And one day I saw it illuminated by the morning light, and I just picked up my camera and took a few shots of it. I thought, well, that's quite special. And later on, I looked at the pictures and thought, oh, that's the album cover. There it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. It's very special to me, So it's the more that I've been able to be personal, the more successful the artistic endeavor has become, I feel. Even with my friend Nick, I was talking about this the other day. We started a project called Spiritual Friendship, and we thought, oh, can we call it I was sitting in this room with Nick, and we thought, can we call it? He said, what are we? I said, we're spiritual friends. And we looked at each other and we said, that could be the title of the project. And we were so nervous because we thought it was too intimate and too giving too much away almost. But that now we're so happy that we committed and chose it, And so same with the album cover picture, it's my dad's wedding ring and symbol of eternal life. It's important stuff. And it's a little vision from my desk.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful.
Okay, you're welcome. You.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you for your interest. Thank you.
So Gareth, my final question: to what extent were you involved with all the remixes and things that were done for the 12-inch singles? And
well, that's all credited. I mean, there was a big remix. We did a lot of remixing, man. We loved the extended remix format. you know, that I know a lot of people still love. Actually, this thing of in the 80s that I don't know if we probably didn't pioneer it, but we felt like we were pioneering it. The idea of taking the song, it's not radically reinventing the song, but taking the song and opening it up and having instrumental passages and highlighting different synths and riffs and beats. We just found that super fun. You know, it's all made by tape editing, of course, just running different bits of the multi-track through different effects and then cutting it all together. And obviously it's a commercial enterprise. Different remixes are involved. For instance, I had nothing to do with Adrian Sherwood's Our People science fiction dancehall classic remix, other than the fact he was in the next studio and, you know, we had a beer together occasionally. But a lot of the remixes I am involved in, and it's all credited on the back of the vinyl, I think.
Is there one in particular that stands out to you that you're very proud of?
No, I'm proud. I'm proud of all of them because I like, you know. Hey, are you a father? Are you a parent?
I am, yeah, and I can't choose favorites.
So, which is your favorite child?
Yeah, I don't have a favorite.
Sorry, Rob. Yeah, there you go. So what I'm delighted about is the flow of that style of working. I think it's a wonderful way to do a remix. I get it that there's been a whole thing through the 90s and the first decade of this century of remixes totally being completely different from the original song, and the original song not even being recognizable. But what we were trying to do was make more like the kind of remix that was inspired by DJs who used to have the same record on each deck and just make extended versions. An extended version, that's what we were making. I love that format.
Those were the best. Actually, those are, I think almost all of us will agree that those are our favorite remixes. When the band was involved, you were involved. Whereas, yeah, now it's just like a dance beat and throw in the lyrics or whatever, and maybe add a little detail here and there. But
yeah,
it's not the same as you're basically expanding upon the song and that same emotion of that song, as opposed to just totally recreating it.
And I think we called some of them extended versions, and that kind of that's exactly what they are. It's not a radical reinvention, but it's an extended version, and it gives extra. You know, there's a big pressure, isn't there, with a single to make it a radio friendly length. You know, my wife is a PR person for music, for national television and radio, and she was like, you know, when I played her Electrogenetic, she said, well, we've got to shorten that one, otherwise we won't get a chance of a radio play. You know, I'm like, oh no, stop. You know, so it's a big thing. It's got to be a certain single, has to be compact, and obviously it's a great art form, making a compact single. It's super cool. Some of the Motown stuff, you listen to the single, it's like 2 minutes 45 seconds or something, and you feel like you've been on a summer holiday, the whole journey. You know, it's very clever, but it's really nice to be freed from that and make an extended version, even twice as long as the LP version. It's a fun project because, as I said, you're able to share the bits of the song that you've heard many times when you've made it. You know, that verse without the vocal. When you make the song, you've heard that like many times because you've muted the vocal because you're mixing it and you want to work on the sequencer sounds or something. So all these different bits, like I love instrumentals of songs that I work on. I love hearing the instrumental because it's exactly the same as the version with the lyrics, except that your ear's able to go somewhere else because the lyrics, the vocals not holding your attention in a way, you know. So it's I agree with you. It's a great format, the extended version, and I still do occasional. You know, if I get asked to do a remix, my approach to this day is really the extended version, you know.
And actually, along those lines, for people that weren't on Von George's call last week, if you are actually a musician or a remixer or anything, we can mention that you are making the stems available for your songs, right? So if they're interested,
I'm planning to make the stems available right now. There's I think pretty cool sample packs available on the electrogenetic.com website, where I've made a sample pack for each song where I've taken loops and snippets from each of the songs that I thought were interesting. And I just took an afternoon. I didn't spend a week on it, but I made like these nice sample packs for each song, which they're royalty free. People are very welcome to download them and use them. Please take them.
Love that. Cheers to that.
Yay.
Cheers.
Please. Thank
Love.
you.
Yeah.
Vaughn, did you have anything that we haven't covered or you wanted to mention or?
No, that's fine. I've actually ordered us a pizza. So
Good man.
Yeah,
Is it going to cool when it's here?
Yes.
Yeah, because we're all locked down from the street, right?
That's right. I promised Gareth a pizza tonight. So yeah, Rob, this has been great, and I want to thank Gareth for obviously going way beyond the Call of Duty. Well, it's 4 hours now, isn't it?
Wow, yes,
that's full respect. So yeah, buy the vinyl, people.
Definitely buy the vinyl, everyone.
Yeah, please.
They know my sense of humor. But yeah, if not,
we love Gareth.
Just at least check. I want to also just mention this something that where's Atusa? Is she there?
Hi.
Yeah. Atusa was very quiet last week, but she hasn't stopped talking on this show.
I can never get it right with you.
Yeah. I know you were having camera. I know you were having camera. She was having camera trouble last
I
night.
have laryngitis. I'm drinking.
Wait, somebody's got their music or their sound up really loud. Who's got the TV out in the background?
Oh, is that me?
I think it's
Yes,
Melissa.
Okay, there we go. So just Atusa just held up something that I was going to talk about. Thanks, Atusa. Showed up there. She's got the picture. If you can pull up that picture of the postcard you've got on your phone there, Atusa. Yeah, just want to show.
Isn't that your postcard?
Yeah. She stole my thunder. Now, the reason that's interesting is because if you see what Atusa's holding up there, yeah, and if you guys see what I'm holding up here. This is my postcard.
It's a mirror image, man.
It's a mirror image.
Oh, cool.
And what makes this really unique is that Gareth is actually selling these on his Bandcamp page. You can go there. I'm going to give links. Rob and I will give links, but we're here to promote the vinyl, really. But this is just a little sideline, a little bit of fun. And what we're going to start here is a viral. We want to do. I don't want to say a viral campaign.
Yoko's got
there's Yoko. Yoko's got hers as well.
Yeah.
So Yoko, yours is number 4. Now these are not these are hand painted by Gareth. I want to be very smug. This is the very first one Gareth sent to me. So I've even beat Rob. I've upped the ante there. Sorry, Rob. So what the idea with this is, guys, is
it's not about being number one. That's what we've been saying all evening.
It's only about being the best, isn't it, Rob? No, so the whole idea with this is, guys, I don't want to ramble on here, but I'm going to start a little viral. I don't want to say viral, but viral within our community here. Where I'm going to start. I'm going to tag a photo of myself with this, and then I'm going to ask everyone who buys one to tag a photo of themselves. You will then send the photo of yourself to electrogenetic.com, and Gareth and I are going to start a little collage page where everyone that has purchased one of these postcards, your photo with your postcard will be featured on that collage. And what's nice about these are kind of like limited because they're all done from one big page. So it's essentially you're holding a piece of the puzzle. So this is just a little bit of a way to, spread a word about, a great artist and just to show we are showing respect to someone who's really given us some of the best memories and music of our life. So
thank you, Vaughn. And the postcards for me is just a way of saying thank you for your interest in electrogenetic. So I've tried to make them affordable on Bandcamp if anyone's interested. No pressure.
That would be awesome.
Not long now. Your pizza is nearly here, right?
We just got a text on the screen saying not long your pizza's there. So I'll tell you what, I'll let you guys. I'm going to go grab the pizza. So
I'll need to come with you.
You're okay. Well,
security.
Well, as soon as they get, they reckon it's going to be. As soon as they arrive, we'll hang up. So
I will start now with. I want to thank you so much, both of you, for doing this, and Gareth, thank you so much for your time. And
thanks for inviting me, Rob.
Yes, and as we've said, we're happy to support you for any future endeavors or anything. You have our full support. So anything you want to come on and promote, absolutely. And even just promoting it in the group, it doesn't have to be a drinking chat or anything, but you're welcome to do whatever in our group. And your album is phenomenal. I was hoping to wait to get the vinyl on my first listen just because I'm an old school guy, but
yeah,
I had to listen to it after the excitement of last week, and it is a great album. So I'm very excited to we're going to make that vinyl happen. I know we're going to do it, and definitely very thankful that you've come on and shared your time. I mean, definitely by far well beyond what we expected, and this has been a great chat.
Yeah, I've been really enjoyed the chat as well, Rob. Thanks for inviting me. It's really nice to connect with everyone and say hi and just generally talk about life and art. And please, everyone, stay strong, stay well, stay creative.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Go on, Larry.
So, I really love attending these Zoom meetings, mainly because I'm surrounded by my kind of people who are into the same music as I am. And, just meeting these different devotees is it's just a real joy because, there's so many of them. And, it goes to show that, you love them and they love you. And, it's just amazing just to see like every single devotee on these Zoom meetings and getting to talk to these people.
Thanks, Larry.
That's
Larry
great.
did say love, by the way.
Thank you.
Love.
I don't know if you caught that. Larry said love.
Yeah, love.
Can I just add one thing?
That's what counts.
Yes, please. Yeah.
And
it's just to show the amount of love that is on this channel. From Vaughn anyway, because I've got this lovely keyboard.
Oh, thank you.
I remember Vaughn.
Yeah, I do.
That you sent me, which really helped me get started.
Thank you, mate.
On what I'm doing, and
you.
Who does that? So
thank you.
And it's just to show what you've done is amazing. So thanks.
Thank you, mate. I always, you can never say I'm a man with heart because you've got, it's your actions that speak louder than what you do. But I don't think I need to say that I mean what I do, and I'm really passionate about what I do. And and attracting this community has been starting this challenge is one of the best things I've ever done, and I'm so grateful to all of you for being here and for meeting Rob and for meeting this great man, and lots of love to you all. So we're going to sign off now, but Rob, I want to say I'll let Gareth say, but I want to say to everyone, thank you guys so much. Rob, thank you, and Gareth, thank you so much. Really enjoyed this. Gareth.
And I'll echo that and say thank you to everyone. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, everyone on the Zoom.
Thank you, sir.
It's great to
Pleasure.
see some of you again.
Thank you, Vaughn George.
Nice meeting you.
And
It was
Gareth
great meeting you.
So for sure, Vaughn George, thanks for helping organize this, and Gareth, thank you for your time. And
yes,
I want to wish you both. I mean, I'm sure I'll be talking to you both before then, but wish you both a very happy holiday and be safe and be well. So thanks again for joining us. It was such a great day.
Yeah, that's everyone, isn't
awesome.
it? Be safe, be well, and be positive and carry on
Well,
growing.
all
of this. Let's all grow.
Loved it.
we
Loved
love
it.
it.
Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much.
Gareth.
Everybody, a round of
Bye.
applause for them.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thank
We love you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.